Yo, Still Mills, what's the dizzle, man? Bro, peak gang. How y'all see this Billy Joe Saunders fight playing out, man? I thought it was gonna be a competitive fight from 1 to 12. I thought it was gonna go the distance. I'm slightly starting to check, rethink that, man. The thing is this, man, you can't, if mind games is what it is, you trying to play with a Canelo Alvarez, it's not going to work in your favor because he's poised. You piss him off, but he's poised still at the end of the day. He's poised, he's cool, calm, and collective. He's not a dude you can rattle. And why should you be able to rattle him, man? He's the HNIC, or he's a HMIC. He's the top dog in the sport of boxing, man. He's the biggest name. He's the cash cow, all of that. There's just no way you can rattle a dude like that, you dig? You shouldn't be, man, he's at a higher stature than everybody. It's not as far as skill and being the most recognized fighter in the sport. We saw this shit play out a few years ago when, Abel Sanchez tried to, oh man, he's running, you know what I'm saying? He's a cheat, he's a PED user and this and that and the third. And how'd that favor for him? Stop running. Fight us, stand and fight us. He backed Golovkin up. Golovkin was fighting off of the back foot. Golovkin looked flustered in there, coming forward. He looked really uncomfortable early on. So when you have Billy Joe Saunders in his camp talking about tainted meat and all that, first of all, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Billy Joe Saunders his camp shouldn't even sniff at the factor of somebody being a drug cheat, due to the fact that you happened with Demetrius and Andre. You feel me? The thing is with Canelo was traces of PED, and with clenbuterol and all that. I don't fucking know. I'm not even gonna get on here and sound like I'm educated with it. I do know they found traces of it in his system instead of it being traces like it was mixed with something, not like a solid substance, like a whole bunch of it in his system. It was traces of it or whatever, and so allegedly, a lot of Mexican athletes go through that. It's in the meat down there in Mexico. They eat a lot of carne asada down there. Shit, we eat a lot of carne asada in my household. A lot of it. So you have to take that shit into consideration. You have to take that into consideration. And you shouldn't even be speaking on it due to the fact that the camp that you are representing has a history of being a drug cheat. And now you're talking about hand wraps and everything, man. Like, it's just really getting to a point where it's becoming, like, annoying. Like, y'all, my hand wraps now I'm being accused for having illegal hand wraps. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what's going on, man. And the last time somebody attempted to do this was with Golovkin. Even though it's a higher division, Saunders isn't. I don't think Saunders is as physically imposing as Golovkin. Golovkin can fuck around and fight at 175. He just never wanted to move up. He never wanted to move up. We've never really even seen this man hurt until Canelo. And uncomfortable and backing up. Like, we never saw that until Canelo. And you think you're going to be able to... I think at this point, naturally you go into a fight. You want to hurt somebody, because if I don't hurt you, you run the chance of hurting me, and I can't allow that to happen. I can't allow myself to go home the same way I walked out of it. I can't allow that. So I have to come and hurt you. Just not on GP. On GP, you ain't really, even when you look at a nigga like Amir Khan, when he went there and he fought Amir Khan, after he comatose that man, he went over there, you know, and like, bro, you know, it's a sport. I'm not trying to kill you or nothing like that. I'm not trying to really fuck you up to a point where you can't go home and be a mobile father to your family or a mobile husband to your family. He did the same thing with James Kirkland. I'm not trying to get in here and really just destroy your motor skills. I'm not trying to do that to you. With Golovkin, he said, I was trying to off that man's head. Now you have a dude who allegedly in the contract said nothing about having a 24-foot ring. You threaten to walk. If it's a 20-foot ring, I'm sure Eddie Hearn had to, you know, increase your purse. You're complaining about the purse. You're making all these complaints or whatever as if you're a factor in the fight. When the fact of the matter is you're not. 70,000 fighters are coming, or 70,000 fans are coming to see Canelo Alvarez. They're not coming to see Billy Joe. They're not. Canelo Alvarez could have fought you in the UK and possibly outsold you. You probably see more Mexicans out there than you would see British, or just as much. So I think those, you know, these little concessions that you're trying to force and impede on people is a little immature. It's very immature. Nonetheless, it worked to your favor. I think it was a bluff call. You know, you called it bluff and you won. So, and you know, salute to you for doing that. Salute to you for doing that. Even though it was, you know, 2 or 3 people on standby, the fact that they even had people on standby in case you pulled this type of shit, that speaks a lot to your character. That speaks a lot about you. You're not trustworthy. You're not. This shit is just kind of ridiculous how you can sit up here and, oh man, he ain't this. Drug cheats, and he like this meat extra juicy, and something with his hand wraps, and that is the pot calling the kettle black. You shouldn't even have opened up that door with all of your skeletons in the closet. That shit is ridiculous. And like I said, the last time somebody really thought they was getting under Canelo's skin to the point where they thought he would unravel and go against the fight, you know, the game plan, it worked to their detriment. Golovkin lost. He lost. I don't think you can make an argument that it was a draw, but Canelo won that fight. I see the argument it was a draw, but Canelo won that fight. And Golovkin was a lot more durable. Golovkin was a lot stronger than you. He packed a bigger punch. The fact that you won a 24-foot ring is really letting people know you intend to dance around the ring all night. Which, all right, cool. We all knew that. We all knew that. You shouldn't have to go against your grain. You shouldn't have to. Even though you can't win a fight like that against Canelo, you shouldn't have to go against your fighting identity to get a fair shake. You shouldn't. Just complaining about the judges. All right, well, all right, cool. That's logical. All that shit is logical, because judging for, you know, judges have favored Canelo on some bullshit. Like, we'll never be able to live down that Floyd shit. And they'll never be able to live that down. But now you know, the 24-foot ring and all that shit is just, all right, cool. You intend to run you get to the dance all, I don't like saying running. But the thing is with that, I think one thing I've been seeing recently with a lot of these people is they keep referencing how he fought Floyd, how Floyd Mayweather was able to do him, and how Erislandy Lara was able to do him. Those fights with Floyd that's coming up on 10 years. That's coming up on 10 years ago when that fight happened. The caliber of competition this man has been fighting in the past 10 years, you don't think his skill set is heightened since then? It's real disingenuous to, reference Floyd, because Billy Joe Saunders isn't Floyd. Even Erislandy Lara wasn't Floyd. He wasn't. Lara was primarily focused on defense. Floyd knows how to use both offensive, his offensive skill set and his defensive skill set simultaneously. You may not like how he uses them, nonetheless he uses them though. Lara didn't, and that's why he lost the fight. So I think it's real disingenuous to sit up there and try and reference Floyd's fight with him as a critical factor, because we're not going to see another cat like Floyd Mayweather for years. Defensively, Shakur Stevenson I think is next, but somebody with that, this immaculate offense, an immaculate offensive skill set and an immaculate defensive skill set combined, that's going to be a hard, and how he used it, because Canelo has an immaculate offensive and defensive skill set, but Floyd was a little bit slicker than Canelo. Floyd had better feet than Canelo. Floyd was better off the rope than Canelo. So as immaculate as Canelo is in the now, Floyd was better then. So the thing is, it's kind of ignorant to use Floyd as a point of reference damn near 10 years ago and think Canelo is, oh man, he's susceptible to what to what Floyd did to him. The thing is, these cats that he's fighting aren't Floyd. So we got to throw that out of the window. With Saunders is going to need to do what he did against David Lemieux plus some. However, to win the fight, he's going to have to also imply the same tactics that he used against Willie Monroe. He stood and he banged with Willie Monroe in spots. He stood and he banged with him. Now the difference, Willie Monroe isn't the puncher that could, that Canelo. Even when Monroe fought Golovkin, Monroe was kind of troubling Golovkin with his hand speed. There was really nothing on them shots. He was able to steal rounds, and he was able to have big moments in the rounds, even that he lost, because of his hand speed. Saunders had it was really no, I hate saying that about professionally trained boxers, but it wasn't the same level of danger that it was with the Canelo Alvarez as far as cementing your hands. It wasn't. It really wasn't, man. But he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to stand there and not trade, but really, really, really get in there and launch a few shots to the speed. Speed, not even just speed, precision. If you step in, when you step in, you can't even use feints. You can't even use, because Canelo doesn't really, he's responsive to the feint. You have to react to the feints, because you don't know what happens if it's not a feint. It's a real shot coming behind that. So you have to be cognizant of the feints. But the thing is, he's not he's poised in there. His IQ is heightened, so he can see in your body front, in your body position when you're actually going to launch a shot, when you're getting set to launch a shot. So I don't even think he can really use feints. I think it has to be precision shots that he's throwing to get Canelo to keep his hands at home. Even when he's moving his head, keeping his guard up and moving his head. If his guard is up and he's moving his head, he's not on offense. He's on defense. So that opens up scoring opportunities for you. He's going to have to do that. And you're going to have, I'm not even saying, flood him with combinations. I'm saying 3-shot bursts and get out. 3-shot burst and keep him off balance. That's what you intend to do from the outside, though. Not in the clinch, not in the phone booth. He's going to have to step into the danger zone and go to work. The thing is, though, once he does that, he's in the danger zone. Once he steps into, once he's forehead to forehead with Canelo, once he's at mid distance with Canelo, he's in the danger zone. He is. He is in the immediate danger. He's in the crock pool at that time, because he can't stand there and trade with Canelo. Canelo's a sharper counterpuncher than him, and he's far more defensively savvy than Billy Joe Saunders. So it's like, how do you find an opportunity to, because you're not going to win the fight from the outside. So how do you win the fight? How do you sway the judges in your favor? Because the minute you're not going to be able to step in behind a jab consistently. You're not going to be able to step in behind a jab. You're going to have to step in on a hook or lead with your straight, or do something, or step in behind an uppercut. You're not going to be able to step in behind a jab, because the way he slips the jab it's ridiculous. He's slipping 6 jab combinations, and like, what the fuck? I think you would have to get him to roll under the shot. You would have to step in behind the hook to try to get him to roll under the shot or step back. But even when you step back, when he does a step back, his step back counter he has a really good step back right hand. If you force him to roll up under his shot, he's gonna come from up under the roll and meet you with a fucking hook to the body. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Well, what do you do? You would have to use lateral movement to find your way in to keep him off balance. Catch him in that middle ground where he's shifting his weight. Where he's shifting his weight to one side. You hop back to the other side, and you unload. You step in behind something right there where he has to go on defense, where he can't respond to you. He has no other choice but to go on defense because he's not set to punch. You are really gonna have to think outside of the box. And I see you doing that early on in the fight. I see early on in the fight, you're gonna keep him guessing early on in the fight, just because I think he's going to allow you to keep. Because I really think you're gonna exert your game plan at his to his maximum early on in the fight. Everything you intend to do for 12 rounds, you're going to do to the extent of where you're gonna want to be able to maintain this the whole entire fight early on. So I don't even think it's going to be a build-up. I think you're going to come out the way that you intend to finish, which is to establish dominance and throw two punch combinations from the outside and spin out. And he's going to allow you to do that. We're probably not even going to see Canelo open up to the third or the fourth round after he has a better calculation of your movements, of your habits, of your punch pattern. That's how I see the fight. And then he's good, like he did with Amir Khan, because Amir Khan was fleet-footed as well. I think your feet are just as fast as your hands, though. Khan had fast feet, but his he would allow his he would start punching before he would allow his foot to get in position, so he would lean into the shots. He did that a lot with Bud as well. Lean into the shots. That's a recipe for disaster. So I think your feet and your hands are compatible enough to where you won't overextend on your punches. You allow yourself to get into position and simultaneously punch when you get in position. But the thing is, what he was doing with Khan, just like I said it before, man, feint position, foot feints, just to see how you respond. He's going to test you with that. He's going to test you with that early, and slowly put himself in position. And before you know it, by the time the fourth and the fifth round come, you eating body shots. You're eating body shots. Your hands are dropping. Your legs are getting tired, because when he closes the gap, you're getting. I think at this point he's gonna, you're a lot more mobile than Golovkin. He's gonna allow them, them blows are gonna stray a little low, possibly. He's gonna hit you on the hip. He's gonna hit you on the thigh. He's gonna do that, along with clean, effective body punching. We talking, because I think it's gonna be competitive up until about the mid rounds. It'll be competitive up until about the mid rounds, I'm thinking. He's gonna start banging your arms. He's gonna start banging. Just once all that shit happens, especially your body. The minute your body you start feeling the effects of the body shots, your hands are naturally gonna drop. Now that's opening you up for the kill shot up top. So by the time the mid rounds come, I see you hitting the canvas. I see you hitting the canvas in the mid rounds. I really do. I really do. I didn't have it like this early on until the antics you started to pull, man. I think when you do that with certain fights, Canelo, like I said, he went in there like I have a job to do, so naturally, yeah, I'm coming in there to somewhat fuck you up. But now he's like, my nigga, I'm trying to real life damage you. I'm really trying to put in pain on you, my nigga, for all this bullshit you doing. I'm really trying to go in here and I don't know, man, leave you, you know, you're gonna leave a part of you in that ring that night. You're not gonna come out the same. I'm thinking he's looking to do you like that. Like, my nigga, I'm really trying to fuck you up. I'm not trying to shake your hand and check on you after the fight. I don't wanna do none of that shit. If I comatose you, I might stand over you and laugh at you. I might flip off the bricks in your corner and shit like that. I might do that. That's the type of time that he seems to be on with you. So I just don't. I see by mid rounds you hitting the deck. I see that. I see that happening. I see you getting up off the canvas and fighting with a sense of urgency like you did in the first fight. And because you had that sense of urgency and that gypsy warrior in you, you're gonna get up and you're gonna, nah, I ain't going out like that. You got me fucked up. And try to, you know, reassert yourself back in the fight, what you was doing early on in the fights. And you having some success in the mid rounds. But then the following round, I see Canelo really going back to work on you and stopping you in the later rounds, possibly the mid-late rounds or the championship rounds. I could be wrong. There's 2 left feet. I really could be. I could be burnt the fuck out. I could be wrong, but that's how I see this fight going, man. Because when you, like I said, better fighters have tried to get under his skin and make him unravel, and it worked to their detriment. You're not Golovkin, even from a, you know, despite the fact that you're a better outboxer than Golovkin. I don't think you have better feet than Golovkin, because I don't think you would have been able to escape Golovkin if you fought him. You have better feet. You're a better outboxer than Golovkin. So I'll give you that, but Golovkin is still better. Better men have tried to get under his skin and make him unravel, and it just didn't work. It didn't work. I'll give Golovkin the first fight with him and Canelo. I will. Canelo really tried to go outside of his fighting identity, and it cost him. But I also think it was a draw as well. Like I had Canelo winning the first 3 rounds in the last 3. It's just Golovkin dominated the middle half of the fight for one a consecutive set of rounds. So if I win 6 in a row, it's going to be hard to remember. Damn, he did win these 3, and he's winning these 3. It's hard to do that, especially if you're not keeping score. But some people scored those 3 rounds for Golovkin. They did. So I understand it. Well, you know, that's neither here nor there. But even with that being said and done, he was hard to hit. Canelo didn't come out of that fight against Golovkin, that first fight. He could have went to the club that night. When he accused him of being a drug cheat and all that, that's what we saw. We saw a brilliant performance from Canelo. We saw a performance from Canelo that was like, yo, homeboy was in a brawl tonight. Same with Golovkin. Golovkin has never been beat up like that. They beat the fuck out of each other that night. And gave us a classic fight. They're gonna be replaying that fight forever. As long as the human race is in effect, they're gonna be playing that fight, because it was that good of a fight. It was that great of a fight. You're not Golovkin. You're not Golovkin. can't step to Canelo, and Lara in his prime was able to escape Canelo for only a matter of time, though. I think Lara is a bit more precise of a puncher than you are. He's a more precise puncher. He lands like 50% of his punches because he doesn't throw many. So it's harder to counter. It's harder to time him and counter him. You're gonna be throwing a little. You're gonna be a lot more active than Lara, but that opens up scoring opportunities for countering with Canelo. I just don't see an outcome in which you win. I see a late stoppage or a 12-round dominating unanimous decision. I really do. I think it'll be a competitive fight up into the mid-rounds. After the mid-rounds, I think that's where it gets a little shaky. And if Canelo wants to come out and just disregard everything I've done, it might not even make it to the late rounds. If he's able to calculate you that early in the fight, right out the gate, by the second round he got you figured out, man, that's going to be problematic. It's going to be lit. So, man, I don't know, man. I got Canelo. Late round stoppage at this point. Or a dominating 12-round decision. Unanimously decided. All in Canelo's favor. After these tactics, I think you really, you gotta let the Kraken rest in the sea, my nigga. Leave guys still at the bottom of the ocean. I think that's what we going for, man. So, like and subscribe. Peace.